about history, there was nowhere around to be seen during these times.
Wow.
And those that are official ballroom historians, those some weren't there during these times, but yet they were passed down the information. Their craft, okay, and that is oh my God, Legend, Terrence Legend,
Yes, that's a
and Derek Trotter Ebony.
shout out to Derek Prada.
They know the history, even before their time. These are things that were passed down to them. This is something that they just didn't do. They involved themselves because they love the ballroom.
Word.
Now back to the shade. It was shade. They couldn't take it. But it's so over when you're not so popular, but you're undeniable. It speaks volume. You don't have to like me, but you need to accept the fact that I'm undeniable.
Word. And the controversy back, big name controversial.
Yeah. I mean, the Latinos and Latinas grew hair better. Okay. The transition with, now don't get me wrong, the black girls were serving, but the Latin girls came and knocked on the door and asked to enter, and that was all she wrote. So that's what really, I believe during that time is what really made ballroom hot.
You know the Latins,
Really made it
they gotta
hot.
bring the sazon and the arroz con pollo and make it hot, turn up the fire, mama.
Listen, they made it hot. They made the black girls step it up.
Work, motivation.
I'll never forget. Oh my God! See, I'm drawing a blank now. See, this is a senior moment. Someone got up in the ballroom while they were walking and said that they didn't see it, and the ballroom went up. I said, okay. Octavia waited. It wasn't maybe a month or so. Octavia came up in the ballroom. Nobody knew Octavia was even in the ballroom. I guess it was Face. She came in cloaked, made it all the way to the stop at the top of the stairs, the Elks Lodge, decloaked. She was in a white dress, white hair, Face sitting. I mean, she never looked so good. And the only thing she said, you didn't see me, what do you see me now? The ballroom came together. They had to stop the ball, clear the floor. You know, it's just those dramatic times that I miss, you know. Just like, we get a lot of stuff. It's just like the drama.
It's when the underdog comes back, mama. When you do the process of reinventation and you leave the thumbprint, you leave an image, you leave a memorable moment for the girls who live for you. They're starting to, you know what I mean? Like the girls nowadays don't know how to work. They think you gotta sit there and sleep with the mothers and the fathers and the brothers and the sisters and everybody in the ballroom scene and search the whole room till you find your way. And next thing you know, you find yourself in a corner pocket. No tea, no shade.
Watch out.
And Angie, and I thought that was a used to throw, but she held her own. I mean, I always took my hat off to her because she always came one better. I'll never forget they read the House of Extrava because Angie kept wearing this one can dress. She wore it for a couple of balls. And it was like, oh, child, if you wear that dress again. It was like, like the short can outfit. with the matching hat. And she wore, and I guess she wore it one time too many. And you know, the girls leave. They find any reason to leave. Well, another comeback moment. She hit the floor in that can. So you could hear her go, oh, baby, as she struck a pose. Why 5 more of those cans came out of nowhere in different colors. And they turned that ballroom inside out. I said, oh my God. Now that was a classic moment. I was like, yeah, they did that. It was like Stevie me. You know, everybody's had a comeback moment.
Wow.
I'll never forget with John Moschino. They tried him one time when his name was Kansai John back in the day. And they tried him over some pieces, some Kansai pieces. And I'll never forget, he came, he walked, he had them pieces on. They was ready to try. And he stood in the middle of the Elks Lodge, and Kansai pieces started coming from nowhere off the balcony. And he stood right there and redressed in the middle of the floor and turned the ballroom out.
Word.
Comeback moment.
The peeling movement.
Yeah.
It was all about, you know, the effects. And serving the girls and making them gag constantly over and over till you couldn't make them gag no more. It worked.
Yeah, it's just like, the drama is just like, I mean, kids just went to any lengths, you know, to just really just sell it. You know, I'm missing so much. You know, boring is so boring to me now because I'm just missing. I always tell my kids, no matter what you do, sell it.
Okay.
It's not just about, you know, like Runway that day, it was a look, not a walk. You know, like there was a blurred line when you say European or All-American. You know, when I realized it was like, okay, I thought they were talking about a look, but All-American is more, you know, masculine and European. You know, back then it was a look.
Right.
You know, and I gave any look that, you know, they wanted.
Okay, it was all about modeling and runway and serving it.
Right, and serving it.
But how do you feel about ballroom scene now? I mean, what's your opinion about, you know, Andre Mizrahi coming down to the Florida ballroom scene to claim 6 new icons?
Listen, all I can say is what I said before. If you feeling iconic, run with it.
Okay.
I know who I am. I know who you want to be. But if you want to be iconic, just know there's going to be a day when you need to stand with an icon. And then that's when you will separate the icons from the wannabes.
Word.
And mind you, I want to see them. And there's another plug coming. I want to see them October 17th when we have Icon versus Icon.
Word.
And I'm not going to disclose the money, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Separating the icons from the wannabes. What makes you iconic?
Work.
Without a team, you don't need a team. One-man production. That's how he did it.
Okay. Well, he's not really claiming them icon. He is awarding them. He's awarding some of the people here in Florida. It's just that there's a couple of people who have put in a lot of work behind the scenes to help build up the Florida ballroom scene, and not everybody is on this list, unfortunately. So there was a big uproar on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a group called the Florida Ballroom Beach or something like that. Yeah, it's something. It's really in a frenzy on the internet and the social network, social media.
I don't think that I mean, there's no shade to anyone because I love everyone, but let's
just put it on the map. Who are the people who helped build the Florida ballroom scene? Do you know?
I'm not really familiar with the Florida ballroom scene, but I can say this. I think anybody that has initiated and that has cultivated and has nurtured deserves recognition. Girl, I'm not knowing all the players in this, but I need to say this from the root of it, and it's no shade towards anybody because I love Andre to death. Okay? I don't believe any one person or group of persons should be solely responsible for what goes on in ballroom. If you think if you want to do something, it's not what you do, but how you do it.
Right.
You know, let's go on and let's try to build, a ballroom, 501c3. We not only establish, some guidelines and some bylaws, but we can also help the community. Okay, and in the process of doing that, we can now, build an infrastructure where we are beginning to address how status is given, how we're recognizing those that are cultivating and nurturing ballroom, and where ballroom is now extending to, because, it's not only national, it's international now.
Right.
And so I think something needs to be in place. They're doing this on the level that it's being done, and just a few people, determining who's being recognized and what accolades are given. I'm not in full agreement with that, and I stand by my word. If it was left to me, I would never accept anything like that. I think you can never truly.
Sorry, I had a cigarette.
You can never truly, that cannot be done by a couple of people. First of all, there needs to be something set in place. There need to be representatives from every area that has ballroom. If ballroom pops up in Tallahassee, there need to be representatives from Tallahassee that will speak, okay, and bring accurate information. Okay, that's where organization comes in,
Word.
And sometime next spring, I'm tackling, because right now we're the House of Youth in the 501c3 process. We're about midway our process, but hopefully by the time we have our board, we will be a 501c nonprofit organization.
Congratulations! Yes, that's awesome. That's excellent. I wanted to ask you a very important question. This is a question that I ask everyone that I have on the show, and it's about the legendary status thing. What does it actually truly take to become a legend or legendary or icon in the ballroom scene? Please explain this to the children.
All I can say is it takes work. It takes dedication. I look at so much. I look at the contribution to ballroom. To me, an icon is a game changer. Someone that, okay, this was the blueprint, but you came and you improved on it. You made a statement. You made it your own. It's like someone, like a singer, or you're redoing someone's song, but you made it your own.
Work.
Someone that puts their stamp. Because you can truly say, this is who they are. They have created a brand. Their name is a brand in ballroom. Whether it's in ballroom or out of a ballroom, an icon to me is a game changer.
Work.
Legend. Okay, you're doing some work. You're putting some work in.
How many years does it actually take, though, to become a legend?
You see,
sometimes how many balls do you have to walk to, or how many trophies do you have to have, or exactly how?
Sometimes it's not always about how many years. It's about more of a quality than quantity, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Okay, like if you walk one ball a year, that still don't give me what I want. You know what I'm saying? Right. When you walk maybe 2 balls a year for 10 years, it's the quality of that.
Right, how hard you serve it.
You keep on wanting more, where you are crowd pleasing. Because before when I was introduced, I became a crowd pleaser. Because even if you're not winning, now catch it, this is tricky, okay? You can be a lot of things and not be the winner. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to win every ball.
Right.
I tell my children, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you